did want to talk to you a little bit about, because you and I are both, rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal, but you and I are both card carrying members of the cult of Black Phillip. I think
Phillip,
so.
Baby.
Yes, and in Black Phillip, of course, it's a play on Dr. Phil. But I always wonder if Patrice O'Neal was still alive, the things he'd be saying right now about society.
He would probably have the biggest podcast like ever. Yeah. Like, I mean, probably Joe Rogan will still have one up on him, but he'd probably be like one of those like top 3-4 people, because his mind was, the way his mind worked was incredible. And yeah, I know he did talk a lot of shit. I'm not going to sit here and say he's some kind of scholar and he should be deitized or anything like that. He did talk a lot of shit at sometimes. He was a very nutty guy.
Yeah.
But his mind was so quick, and the way he, not only relationships and stuff like that, but just and when I mean relationships, I mean like between people, not just man, woman, man, whatever, romantic. It's just like the way people interact and the way that people, I think he would have had a fantastic podcast just breaking down conversations in between people. Like, I think he would have been a great, like, if he would have had like a Klan member and just a Black Panther member, and he was in the middle and he was the orator, and he would just be able to go back and forth. I think that would have been a phenomenal podcast. I get into shit all the time about my Twitter bio. And the reason my Twitter bio is what it is because, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I want to explain it here, because I try to explain it for people to understand it. It's not so that my Twitter bio says it's a Patrice O'Neal quote. And the quote is, "I generally don't like living in a world where being what a man is a horrible thing, and no matter what a woman is, it's a wonderful thing."
Yeah, I'm going to highlight it right here.
So the reason why I have that there is because, like, women, like, I'll interact with people on Twitter and then they'll go to my bio, because it's happened before, and then they'll see that and they'll be like, "Yo, you're a fucking asshole." And it's like, but you're not even really understanding the context of that quote. Yeah. Like, it's not about women are bad or men are bad or men are good, or that's not what that quote's about. It's just about accountability. I can never say that word right. It's about accountability for everyone. Mm-hmm. So, like I was saying before, there's good men, there's bad men, there's good women, there's bad women, there's good cops, there's bad cops. There's good and evil everywhere. Okay. Yeah. And you want to judge people as individuals, not as groups. And that's like really the point of that quote. Because it's like that. I think that quote is amazing. Like, that should be in a museum somewhere, like on a plaque, because it's a good conversation starter. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not to single any one person out. It's just kind of like he didn't want to be. It's very layered. He was a very interesting guy, man, to see. Yeah. What an interesting dude, man. He just again, his mind was incredible, and the way he passed away was terrible, because he ended up having that stroke and he couldn't really talk at the end.
Yeah.
So imagine somebody with all those thoughts and the way his mind worked not be able to fucking talk anymore. It was terrible.
Why do you think the people that saw that quote took it the wrong way? Why do you think they took it that way?
I can see how they can't take it the wrong way, because if they don't stop and actually think about how the quote is, because basically a lot of times when like a woman sees that, they think that it's like it's blaming women, like it's a blame women thing when they read that quote, because it's literally saying, generally, I don't want to be in a world where being what a man is horrible, and no matter what a woman is, it's wonderful. Like, so I want to make sure I say this the right way, because I don't want to poo on my own shit.
Like, only wonderful. Like it's almost, it's like assuming that being a man is always terrible, and being a woman is always terrible. Wonderful.
It always comes from a fucking horrible caveman mentality place, and then anything that a woman does is like wonderful. Like there was a episode of because he used to frequent the Opie and Anthony show a lot. I have my problems with certain members of that show, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So there was an episode of the show where they were playing audio from a woman she was a teacher, and she had sexual relations with one of her students. The student was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And she was like one of the teachers, and she got pregnant. And she was on like Dateline or something, talking to like Diane Sawyer or some shit, explaining her case. Like, they're like, so what happened here that you like? And the girl's like, I don't know. He was just, he was really nice, and he was very charming, and I didn't believe that he was. I thought he was at least 17, and he was just really nice to me, and everything was nice, and I don't know. He just and I'm listening to this fucking woman, and I'm like, she's over here explaining how she had sex with a minor, and they're giving her this TV time, and then Patrice, they play a little bit of audio, and Patrice he comes on, and he goes, now, can any man be on TV talking about how he just was just having a wonderful relationship with a 13-year-old girl? And everybody was like, no, of course not. And then like, that's the double standard. Like, that's where it's like, there has to be accountability for everybody, dude. Women do fucked up shit, men do fucked up shit. It's not, that's where the brilliance in that quote is. Like, for me, it's just
where do you think we get this notion of toxic masculinity came from?
A lot of it has to do with clicks. It really does. Some of these kids, I don't believe they believe a fucking word of any of the shit that they're saying. They're literally just on here because so people like Sneeko and like these Fresh and Fit, they cater to like that type of audience where it's just like the Andrew Tates.
Yeah.
Alpha male, women need to shut the fuck up and cook,
make me a sandwich, kind of thing. Yeah.
And it's those people, and it's not just they get the attention, they get the clicks, whether it's good or bad clicks. They're clicks. That's the thing. They don't care about getting people who hate them clicking on it. They just want people to click on it. Once you get to those millions and millions of clicks, that's where you start making money. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. Now, do some of these guys believe that shit? For me, it's hard because it's like, how can you have that? Like, how can you be so? How can you treat a person like that, like an object? Like that shit, that shit doesn't register with me. Like, I don't understand that part. Like, a lot of these guys just like, they want an object. It seems like listening to their shows, and they want to be able to tell women what to do and where to go and blah 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 blah. And I can't fuck with that shit. Like, I've never subscribed to that, and I just think that that's something that like younger people who haven't fully developed yet kind of fall into those kind of traps. And I think a lot, since obviously with TikTok and all that things, much younger people are the ones using these things, and they're the ones driving those clicks and making those people more popular. So that's why you're seeing more of that shit. Because he's like, oh, he's gonna talk about, it's just like the wrestling thing. You got your guys who, yelling and screaming about booking and this and that, and then another person sees that and they're like, well, he's getting all those clicks, I kind of agree with that shit, I'm gonna do the same thing. And now they're
Catch new episodes of Mental Health Mondays every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Start your week off with a smile and some inspiration.